Hello everyone, and welcome to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Care Network. I'm Dean, the host of this channel, and also the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Today I'd like to present to you episode 121 on the N.A.R.C.N network, and this is part 2 of episode 121, the title of which is How to Detach from the Narcissist. Part 2 is going to be about the escaping a spouse or a person that you live with together in some form, because this is a little bit different than what we talked about in part 1 of episode 121. So we're going to go into a little bit of the details of this, because this is a little bit different than what we were talking about when we were talking about people that you're not currently cohabitating with in some manner. So, what do you do to get away from a narcissist when you're in a narcissistic abuse relationship and you're currently living with that person as a spouse or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the capacity is? You still have to try to detach in some particular way. This, of course, can be very difficult because you're in a living situation that you may not necessarily just be able to get up and leave. That being said, how do you go about doing this? Well, there's a few things that you can actually do here if you know for sure that you are dealing with a narcissist and you've basically decided here at some point that you need to get out of this situation. So if you're living with a spouse in a married situation, here's what I suggest doing. Especially, I'm going to just suggest here too, if it's a spouse and you have children, this is what I suggest basically doing. First thing I would do is consult a lawyer. If you have a family lawyer that's a shared lawyer between yourself and your spouse, don't go consult that lawyer. Go get another lawyer outside that isn't aware of your spouse and isn't conjointly employed by your spouse as well here too. Go talk to that lawyer about what's going on. Make them completely aware about what's going on in your life in its entirety, so that that lawyer is aware. Talk to that lawyer about what you might want to do. Talk to that lawyer and tell them you might want to escape this situation because you now know you're dealing with a narcissist and you want to get out. That lawyer is going to give you a lot of good advice as to how you should go about doing this. Try to find a lawyer that has experience with narcissists. There are lawyers out there who have experience with dealing with narcissistic relationships. Try to find one of those, because they'll be able to give you really, really good advice. There's a number of narcissistic expert lawyers on the internet that you can actually look up information from as well too. I may post some links in the video when I post this video so you can see who those experts actually are and what they say. But first and foremost, I would get a lawyer and talk to them about what's going on. Number 2, make your family aware about what's going on. Make them aware that you're dealing with a narcissist. Tell them all about that. Tell them about what's occurring with that so that they know. Tell your close friends who are very, very close to you what may be going on. Make other people aware of the situation that you are dealing with in this instance. The second thing I would tell you is the same thing that I would tell anybody else when we were talking about stuff in part 1, because I didn't mention this in part 1 of episode 121, but that is this: whatever evidence you have to support that this person that you're dealing with is a narcissist, keep that evidence. Keep messenger evidence. Keep phone conversations. Keep anything that presents itself that this person may be a narcissist and that you can prove this. You'll need this later on. The lawyer may need this later on, depending on what goes on. You need to keep evidence of this particular nature. A third point here is you are going to have to try to detach from this narcissist in some way. Again, this is difficult to do because you may be in a married situation where you're living with this person, living with a spouse, living with a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, whatever's going on. My suggestion here is that if you're dealing with them, especially if you have children, conduct your business like you conduct business every day with them. Try not to let the children see that something like this is going on if you can. At a later date, you can inform your children as to what went on. Of course, if the children are older, they'll be able to understand what may be occurring. But for the moment, try to keep life as normal as you can. But here's what you do need to do. You need to retract away from this narcissist. Stop telling them everything about your business. Stop telling you about themselves. Don't keep sharing personal things with this narcissist. This is a narcissist you're dealing with. They're going to take these personal things and they're going to use them against you. And because you can't immediately get out of a living situation with them unless you have some means to do so, in which case I would say, if you have the ability to stop cohabitating with that narcissist right away, do it. Go stay with your family. Go stay with a friend. Do whatever you can to get out of that living situation and to separate from that narcissist. But if you cannot do this, then do this. Start protecting yourself. Stop having very open dialogue with the narcissist so they don't know about everything else that's going on with your life. Retract away from that narcissist. Talk about the things you need to talk about them with on a daily basis, like the children, whatever's going on in the house, things of this nature. Try to be cordial, but at this point, shut down any other communication with them that is unnecessary. This is important because they will use these other things against you in some manner if they can. So try to shut that all down if you can actually do this. Another thing I suggest here is that if you share bank accounts with this narcissist, talk to the lawyer about these facts, make him aware that you share accounts. You might want to go so far as to immediately separate yourself from these accounts by some means, either by dividing up the assets in the account and taking yourself off of being a co-signator for the account and taking that money and putting it into your own account, or doing something of this nature where you don't have that joint access to that account anymore with the narcissist. You may want to separate your money. You may have to, again, consult a lawyer about how to go about doing this. He's going to give you good advice on what to do in this particular instance if you have shared assets in any particular way. Again, do something of this nature to protect yourself from that narcissist, because the narcissist can do anything. I've seen narcissists, I've dealt with people on my N.A.R.C.N network where narcissists have emptied joint accounts and that money has gone missing, and that's it. And now the spouse doesn't have access to that money anymore, or that the narcissist has taken them off as a co-signator for that account. All this crazy stuff can happen. So protect yourself in this way. Narcissists are loose fuses when it comes to doing things last minute and just doing something that's radical, because again, their brains revolve around chaos. Everything is chaos within them. So the second you create chaos with them by trying to get away from them, chaos becomes that much worse. It becomes elevated, and everything you do from this point is going to be a big show for that narcissist to try to manipulate you in some particular way and take advantage of you. So all these things that I've suggested as far as trying to escape away from a narcissist if you're in a living situation with them, these things that I told you are very, very, very solid advice. Other narcissistic experts would probably offer the same advice to you. Please take these things with a grain of salt, because you don't have to do all of them. This is just coming from a person who's studying narcissism right now, and through the knowledge of other narcissistic experts that would tell you what to do or what you could possibly do in this particular instance. And I'm offering this advice to you guys to keep you guys safe and to help you escape from this narcissist that you're particularly dealing with. So these are some of the things you need to do if you're trying to escape in a spousal or living situation from a narcissist. I just wanted to talk briefly about this in part 2 of episode 121, just so you guys are aware of what my advice is, particularly when it comes to this. So this has been part 2 of episode 121. I'm going to say stay tuned. I've got part 3 coming up shortly concerning episode 121. We'll talk a little bit in there about some other things that you need to do when you're dealing with escaping from a narcissist. And I'll also say stay tuned. I've got other content coming up on the N.A.R.C.N network and also on the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. But for now, I'm going to say I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you really soon in some new videos.